Welcome back to Talk to the Doctor, the podcast from Pure Natural Health, where we bring you insightful, science-backed conversations to help you age with strength, clarity, and confidence. I'm Emily Johnson, your host. Today's topic might surprise you. We're used to hearing about muscle loss affecting balance or physical strength, but what if I told you that your muscles and your brain are deeply connected? In today's episode, we'll explore why losing muscle after 60 may accelerate cognitive decline, the surprising role of exercise-induced hormones that protect the brain, what studies show about frailty and dementia risk, and the best foods and habits to support both muscle and memory. Stick with us to the very end because Dr. Miller will share a simple, daily routine that supports both mental clarity and muscle strength, and you won't want to miss it. Dr. David Miller is with us again, a physician and wellness educator who's worked with thousands of older adults to support healthy aging. Dr. Miller, welcome back.
Thanks, Emily. I'm really glad we're having this conversation because most people don't realize how much our muscle mass is linked to brain health. It's not just about looking strong or walking steady. Your muscles actually release chemical messengers called myokines that talk directly to your brain. So today we're going to dive into that fascinating connection, and I'll also give practical tips that your listeners can act on right away.
Dr. Miller, let's start with the basics. What's the connection between muscle loss and brain health in older adults?
As we age, one of the most noticeable changes in our body is the gradual loss of muscle mass, known as sarcopenia. While this process is often associated with reduced strength, mobility, and balance, there's a lesser-known but equally critical consequence: its impact on brain health. Muscles aren't just tissue that move us around. They function like endocrine organs, meaning they produce and release hormones and proteins that affect other systems in the body, including the brain. One of the most important of these substances is called myokines. These are chemical messengers released by muscles during physical activity, and some of them, like brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, play a vital role in maintaining and even enhancing cognitive function. So when we experience muscle loss and become less active, we release fewer myokines, which in turn means lower levels of BDNF. This can accelerate memory issues, reduce concentration, and increase the risk for conditions like Alzheimer's disease. In addition, muscle loss contributes to systemic inflammation and poor metabolic health, both of which are known risk factors for cognitive decline. Decreased muscle mass also leads to reduced mobility, and when people become sedentary, the brain receives less stimulation from the physical world. The takeaway is, maintaining muscle strength isn't just about staying on your feet, it's about keeping your mind sharp and engaged as well. This is why strength training and physical activity are just as important for your brain as they are for your body.
You mentioned BDNF earlier. Can you explain a bit more about how exercise, especially resistance training, influences brain protective chemicals like that?
Absolutely. Brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, is often described as fertilizer for the brain, and for good reason. It helps promote the survival of existing neurons while also encouraging the growth and differentiation of new neurons and synapses. In simple terms, it keeps your brain adaptable, youthful, and resilient. When we engage in regular physical activity, especially resistance or strength training, our muscles release myokines into the bloodstream. One of the key effects of these myokines is the stimulation of BDNF production in the brain, particularly in areas related to memory and learning, such as the hippocampus. In fact, studies have shown that older adults who regularly participate in moderate to intense physical activity have significantly higher levels of BDNF than those who are sedentary. What's especially promising is that even short, consistent bouts of activity, like 30 minutes of walking or 20 minutes of lightweight training, can lead to noticeable increases in BDNF levels. Moreover, these activities don't just boost BDNF temporarily. Over time, consistent exercise leads to lasting improvements in brain plasticity, which is the brain's ability to adapt to new challenges, repair damage, and maintain function in the face of aging. There's also evidence that BDNF interacts with other brain chemicals, like serotonin and dopamine, which help regulate mood and motivation. So in addition to memory benefits, exercise may also help reduce depression and anxiety, common issues in older adults. The message here is empowering. Your muscles have the power to communicate directly with your brain, and what you do with your body sends powerful healing messages to your mind. So by choosing to move, even in small ways, you're supporting not just your muscles, but your mental clarity and emotional well-being too.
Is there any scientific evidence that directly links low muscle mass to dementia or Alzheimer's disease?
Yes, there's actually a growing body of scientific research that clearly points to a strong link between low muscle mass and a higher risk of cognitive disorders, including dementia and Alzheimer's disease. In one key study published in the journal Neurology, researchers followed a large group of older adults for several years. What they found was that participants with lower muscle mass at the beginning of the study had a significantly higher likelihood of developing Alzheimer's later on. The mechanism behind this link is multifaceted. First, as we've discussed, muscle tissue produces myokines like BDNF that help protect the brain. A reduction in muscle mass means fewer myokines, which compromises the brain's resilience to aging and disease. Second, muscle loss often goes hand in hand with physical inactivity, which further reduces cerebral blood flow and brain stimulation, both essential for cognitive health. Another important factor is inflammation. Older adults with lower muscle mass tend to have higher levels of systemic inflammation. Chronic inflammation can cross the blood-brain barrier and damage brain cells, promoting neurodegenerative processes. Some scientists even suggest that muscle loss may act as a kind of early warning system, signaling deeper metabolic and vascular issues that are also affecting the brain. Moreover, frailty and slow walking speed, both indicators of muscle weakness, have been shown in numerous studies to predict cognitive decline. In fact, one large Japanese study followed thousands of elderly individuals over a decade and concluded that frailty, especially involving mobility and strength, was one of the most reliable predictors of future dementia. What all this tells us is that muscle health and brain health are deeply intertwined. Protecting your muscle mass isn't just about staying physically independent. It's one of the most powerful things you can do to preserve your mental abilities as you age. So don't underestimate the power of strength training, balance exercises, and proper nutrition. Your brain depends on it more than you think.
What types of exercise are most beneficial for maintaining both muscle mass and brain health in people over 60?
That's a fantastic question, Emily. When it comes to exercise that supports both muscle and brain health, the key is variety. A well-rounded fitness routine should include resistance training, aerobic activity, and some form of balance and coordination work. Each of these elements contributes uniquely to both physical and cognitive well-being. Let's start with resistance training. Things like lifting weights, using resistance bands, or even bodyweight exercises like squats or push-ups. These activities are critical for preserving and rebuilding muscle mass, especially after 60, when sarcopenia starts to accelerate. But the benefit doesn't stop at your biceps. Resistance training has been shown to increase BDNF levels, enhance executive brain function, and even improve memory. Next, aerobic activity. This includes walking, cycling, swimming, or dancing, anything that gets your heart rate up. Aerobic exercise increases blood flow not just to your muscles, but to your brain. More blood flow means more oxygen and nutrients are reaching brain cells, which promotes plasticity and helps delay the onset of age-related cognitive decline. Balance and coordination activities such as Tai Chi, yoga, or even dance are also essential. These improve proprioception and help prevent falls, which is crucial for maintaining independence. But here's the cognitive twist. Activities that challenge balance and coordination stimulate the cerebellum and the motor cortex, parts of the brain involved in planning, attention, and learning. Finally, I'd emphasize consistency and enjoyment. You don't need to be a marathon runner or lift heavy weights to benefit. Even light daily movement, if sustained over time, can lead to significant improvements. And if you enjoy what you're doing, you're much more likely to keep it up. My advice is to aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate activity per week, incorporating strength exercises twice weekly and daily movement for flexibility and balance. The brain thrives on physical challenge, novelty, and movement, so mix it up, keep it fun, and don't stop moving. Your muscles and your mind will thank you.
What role does nutrition play in preventing muscle loss and protecting brain function as we age?
Nutrition is absolutely foundational when it comes to preserving both muscle and brain health. What you eat literally becomes the building blocks for your tissues, including your muscles and neurons. As we get older, our bodies become less efficient at absorbing nutrients and building protein into muscle, which makes dietary choices even more critical. First and foremost, protein intake is essential. Older adults should aim for at least 1.0 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day, more if they're physically active or trying to regain lost muscle. Lean meats, fish, eggs, dairy, legumes, and tofu are excellent sources. Protein helps stimulate muscle protein synthesis, which counteracts sarcopenia. In addition to protein, nutrients like omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, creatine, and antioxidants play major roles. Omega-3s found in fatty fish like salmon and mackerel have anti-inflammatory properties and have been shown to enhance muscle function and support cognitive health. Vitamin D is important for muscle strength and has also been linked to reduced risk of cognitive decline. Antioxidants, such as vitamin C and E, as well as polyphenols from berries, green tea, and dark leafy greens, help combat oxidative stress, which damages both muscle and brain cells over time. Foods rich in B vitamins, especially B6, B12, and folate, also support brain health by reducing homocysteine levels, a compound linked to brain atrophy. Hydration and gut health matter too. Dehydration is surprisingly common in older adults and can impair both physical and mental function. Meanwhile, a healthy gut microbiome, supported by fiber-rich foods like fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, helps regulate inflammation and can influence mood and cognition via the gut-brain axis. In summary, a diet rich in lean protein, healthy fats, colorful vegetables, and whole grains, along with adequate hydration, can significantly slow muscle loss and protect your brain. Think of food not just as fuel, but as medicine. Every bite you take is either fighting for your strength and clarity or against it.
We now have 2 excellent questions sent in by our listeners. Question from Robert in Arizona. I walk 5 days a week, but haven't done weight training in years. Is walking enough to maintain brain health?
Robert, first of all, kudos to you for staying active. Walking regularly is fantastic for both physical and mental well-being. Walking improves blood circulation, supports heart health, and boosts mood. That said, as we've discussed today, walking alone may not be enough to maintain muscle mass, especially the fast twitch fibers that support strength and prevent falls. So to truly protect brain health, you'll want to incorporate some form of resistance training into your weekly routine. It doesn't have to be intense. Simple bodyweight exercises like wall push-ups, chair squats, or using light dumbbells at home can be very effective. Combining walking with 2 sessions of strength work per week can dramatically enhance BDNF levels and improve overall cognitive resilience. Keep walking, just add a bit of strength work to the mix.
Question from Martha in Florida. I'm 72 and recently started forgetting things more often. Could this be related to muscle loss?
Martha, I appreciate your honesty, and yes, there absolutely could be a connection. While memory issues can result from many factors, including sleep, medications, and other health conditions, muscle loss is increasingly recognized as a potential contributor to cognitive decline. As we've covered, muscles send important signals to the brain through myokines, and a lack of activity can reduce these protective signals. The good news is that it's never too late to make improvements. I recommend speaking to your doctor to rule out any other causes, but also begin incorporating gentle strength-building activities like light resistance training into your weekly schedule. Add in brain-healthy foods, and consider keeping a memory journal. Small steps really can lead to noticeable improvement.
Dr. Miller, thank you so much for shedding light on this important topic. It's eye-opening to realize how our muscles are doing so much more than just helping us move. They're helping us think, remember, and stay emotionally strong.
Thank you, Emily. Aging doesn't have to mean decline. With the right movement, nutrition, and habits, we can absolutely stay sharp, strong, and independent.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave us a review. Join us next time on Talk to the Doctor as we continue exploring natural ways to stay healthy after 60. Until then, stay strong, stay curious, and keep moving.